Hey everyone. So this is the warm up that we're going to be doing in class today. So I figured before you take your mini quiz today that I should go over some problems for you. So what the quiz is on is just what we did last week. So on Friday we went over this and you guys did pretty well with it in class. So I'm just going to go over a couple of each type. So the first type that you're going to have to do is part A here, which is determining if a figure is similar. So remember the things you look for when determining if a shape is similar is you take a look at the angles first to make sure that the angles are congruent, which in number one they are. See how these two are marked as congruent to these two, and then these two and these two. So all the angles are the same. Then you have to set up ratios of the sides. So you actually have to do out some work and write out ratios. So see how I'm going to start with 14. 14 would correspond to 21. So you can put 14 over 21. And ask yourself, is that equal to? I can put 9.1 over 16.7. And then you don't have to put 9.1 over 16.7 again. And then lastly, you're just going to have 8 over 10. So normally when we do these, you can just reduce the fraction. Since we have this set of decimals here, I'm going to just divide them. So you just have to do the top number divided by the bottom number. So 14 divided by 21 gives us about 0.6 repeating. So if the rest of them are 0.6 repeating, then it's yes. So now I'm doing 9.1 divided by 16.7, which is 0.54. So I already know it's a no, but just to show you the rest, 8 divided by 10 is 0.8. So these are not equal. So we would say, no, they're not similar. You don't fill in the statement. And if I asked you why they're not similar, we would say sides are not proportional. Okay, so there's the first one. Now remember when you're setting up your ratios, it doesn't matter if you go small to big or big to small, as long as you're consistent with what you're doing. So like in number 2, I'm going to go big to small just to show you another option. So yes, the angles are congruent in number 2, so now we need to set up ratios of the sides. So this 18 would correspond to 13.5. Is that equal to, let's see, 10 would correspond to 7.5. Is that equal to 8 to 6? And then 8 to 6 again, which you don't really have to rewrite it. Okay, so now again, since I have decimals, I'm just going to divide these. 18 divided by 13.5 would give me 1.3 repeating. So let's see if that's equal to 10 divided by 7.5. And it is also 1.3 repeating. And then if 8 over 6 is also 1.3 repeating, which it is. Sorry, this is like kind of going into the words here, but that's okay. So since all of these are equal, we're going to say that yes, they are similar because of their sides are proportional is what we would say. All the ratios are equal. So then to fill in this statement here, I went from A to B to C to D. So I went from 3 arcs to 4 arcs to 1 to 2. So I'm going to start with 3, which is G, then go to 4, which is H, and go to 1, which is E, and then go to 2, which is F. So G, H, E, F would be the corresponding order there. Okay, so that's how you determine if shapes are similar. Next part is scale factor. So you know that they're similar, and you're just simply identifying scale factor. For all of these, it says to do larger figure to smaller figure. Remember, whatever's before the 2 goes in the top. Whatever's after the 2 goes in the bottom. So these are all going to be bigger figure in the top. So I'm going to do, let's say 25 would map with 20. And then you just want to reduce it. You could make it a decimal if you wanted to. 25 divided by 20 is 1.25, or you can reduce it. That's probably what I would do. So if we reduce it, they can both be divisible by 5. So you're going to have 5 over 4. Or if you wrote 1.25, that's fine too. Whoops. Okay, and then number 3, also big to small, so we can do like 6 over 4, which is the same as 3/2, or 1.5. So that's scale factor. Just pay attention to the order it says to go in. Okay, and then the last two are examples where we know they're similar. We're not testing to see if they are. We know they're similar, and we're asked to find a variable in this case. And then number 5, we're finding the perimeter. But for this one, remember, you just write a proportion. So see how x plus 15 corresponds to 18. So you put x plus 15 over 18. And then 36, we don't know what this one is, so you're not going to use 36. You're going to use 40 and 30. So I went big to small, big to small. It's important that you're consistent with how you set up your proportions. So now we have to cross multiply. Oops. So it's going to be 30, and then in parentheses, x plus 15 equals 18 times 40. 18 times, 40 is 720. And then over here, it's going to be 30x plus 450 equals 720. Remember, it's important that we distribute to both of the numbers. So now we're just going to solve for x. So we're going to do 720 minus 450. So subtract 450 from both sides. So now we have 30x equals 270. And then divide by 30. So x just ends up being 9. That's our answer for that one. Okay, so if you know the figures are similar and you're just asked to find x, set up a proportion, cross multiply. Last one we're going to do is this perimeter one. So remember that the perimeters of similar shapes are proportional to the sides. So if I'm looking for the perimeter of this one, I could say the perimeter of this one is just x. The perimeter of this one is 66. And so what I can do is I can use my perimeters. So I can use x and 66 in a proportion with, say, 10 and 20. So I can set up like perimeter of the small one over perimeter of the big one equals side of the small one over side of the big one. Now this one, now that I look at it, the scale factor is actually pretty easy, but it's okay. If you didn't notice that, you can just set it up and then cross multiply. So 20x equals 660. And then 660 divided by 20 is going to be 33. Now another way you could do it, so this is the answer. This is the perimeter of triangle XYZ is 33 units. So that's your answer. Another way we could have done it is you could have found this side and found this side, which in this particular example, it's kind of easy because the scale factor is 2. Like this would be 11 and that would be 12, and then you can just add them together. Or if it wasn't as easy as that, you could have written proportions to find YZ and XZ, and then just added the 3 together. So that's it. I went over like a little bit of everything. So if you understand these 5 problems, you should do totally fine on your quiz. Please let me know if you have any questions. The quiz is due by class time tomorrow. All right, that's it. Have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.